is Rudy Giuliani with America's Mayor Live. And you can't guess where we are. I bet you can't. And I'm not going to tell you right away. I'm going to tell you as we're moving along. But the artwork here is superb.
Beautiful. Pre-Castro.
Pre-Castro Cuban, mostly, which is historic, right? And when you think about it, really, really historic. Historic about a remarkable group of people who have helped to build 20th century America and 21st century America. You get some of the idea of why they did when you see this.
We'll have later on, Ted will pin around the room so you can see all the beautiful art.
We'll get a good look at this and we'll get some explanation of the history and the background. And but let's begin with, well, I don't know what you could call the top story of the day. The most disgusting, salacious, unconstitutional, un-American trial in the history of the United States was put on today in probably one of the most perennially crooked courts in America, the New York State Supreme Court for the county of Manhattan, otherwise known as New York. Now, I am a New Yorker and I'm a proud one and probably know more about New York than most living human beings. Lived there all my life, governed it quite successfully, policed it very successfully, and I am embarrassed. No, I'm hurt. New York is seen to the world as a court that you'd have to go to Soviet Russia or Nazi Germany or maybe Castro's Cuba to find similar violations of the law.
Even the radical left networks are talking about that this is a disgrace, that it should have never seen the light of day. Now, you being a lawyer all your life, being a prosecutor, it must really hurt you when you see that the laws aren't being followed. Just the fact that there was no crime outlined in this case, the judge should have never accepted it.
There's no judge. That's not a judge. The person sitting there, Mr. Mershon, has never been elected a judge. He's been sitting there for 22 years and nobody ever thought.
It's an interim, right?
Yeah, he's like an acting judge. We got an intern sitting there whose daughter's making millions attacking Donald Trump, who voted for Joe Biden, whose wife voted for Joe Biden, whose daughter has put out disgusting caricatures of Donald Trump, who doesn't seem to know anything about, oh my goodness, the rule of ethics. How about Anglo-American due process? Let's start off with the fact that Trump's not charged with a crime. Mm-hmm. Hey, judge. Hey, jerk. Somebody's got to be charged with a crime in a court. When they're not, you know what you do, judge? You dismiss the case if you're an American judge. But if you're controlled by Joe Biden and the Democratic Party machine, who the hell is the boss of the county there? Keith Wright, son of Set Him Loose Bruce Wright. Yeah, oh yeah. Set Him Loose Bruce Wright's son. Put that guy on the bench or keeps him there because he runs Manhattan.
Let me ask you a question about today. So everybody was saying that Stormy Daniels, what does she have to do with this bookkeeping error? Zero, right?
Nothing.
So everybody speculated she's there to humiliate the president. That's it. Now, she was allowed to go into detail about the alleged sexual one-time.
Well, I actually thought I had banned pornography from that section of Manhattan.
Well, let me ask
you. But today there was a live pornographic show presided over by a disgrace of a human being, not just a judge, Mershon. And the things he's done in this trial should result in the summary dismissal of this case.
Well, can I just ask you about today and Stormy Daniels? I understand she shouldn't have been on there at all, but she was allowed to go. And then she was allowed to really deviate from the questioning, but Judge Mercan afterwards tried to blame the defense, saying you didn't object enough.
Yeah, well, the judge obviously,
So
the judge obviously, for any number of other reasons, should turn in his law degree because it was obviously worthless. A judge can exclude anything he wants or she wants from a trial. You are not bound by the lawyers objecting. Where the hell did you ever get that idea, you Democratic hack? What happened? Did the Democrat boss of Manhattan come and tell you, don't object, don't rule for any objections in favor of Trump? Those lawyers didn't have to object. Should they have? Yes. Are they doing a good job? Not in my mind, they're not.
We only know what's being reported, though. In all fairness, we're not in the courtroom.
Well, I'm not being fair. I'm being truthful.
Okay.
Lawyers that let this happen should find somebody else to be trial lawyers. Trial lawyers are tough. You think that guy standing next to Trump looks tough? I think he looks so damn scared, he's looking for a place to hide. They didn't object to this. They didn't want to offend the jury. Didn't want to offend the jury. You're trying to put my client in jail. You're trying to interfere in an election in a way that has never been done in the United States of America. You're trying to turn my country into a dictatorship, and I'm not going to object. And by the way, lawyers, why don't you go to jail for Trump? Why don't you stand up and say what Trump can't say? And then let him put you in jail.
So very interesting when the defense, finally had a chance to cross-examine Stormy Daniels. They were cut off by the judge right when they caught her in a lie. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I can explain it. The judge is crooked. The judge is dishonest.
What was the lie about?
Well, she had been saying throughout that she wasn't interested in money. Oh, God almighty. And it went on for about 20 minutes. The lawyer was actually conducting probably the only thing amounting to a cross-examination that these guys are capable of. And all of a sudden, Stormy Daniels broke down and admitted she was lying. Before she could get the words out, the judge stopped the trial for the day at 4:39. We're supposed to go to 5. Well, we're going to take a break today for the day. Now, I've cross-examined numerous times.
Once you get in that moment.
And I'm brilliant at it, okay? I'm brilliant at it. You work toward getting that liar to the point of admitting the lie. And if she's worth anything, coming after that first lie she got are about 50. Because this woman has spent her life lying, as well as selling you know what. Well, by the time she gets off that witness stand, she should be crawling on the floor like the liar she is. But she didn't get a chance to do it, the lawyer, because the judge cut her off immediately upon the woman admitting a lie.
Will she come back tomorrow then?
Yeah, but by that time they can rehabilitate her. Now, do you need anything else to prove to you that this judge is not a judge? He's a hitman for the Democratic Party.
No, I think you're correct.
Well, why doesn't is there anybody in New York who's got the guts to stand up and say, this case is a monstrosity, it's an embarrassment to New York. New York will now stand out as by far the worst justice system in the country. This judge is making a mockery. Any decent judge has to be outraged at watching this man with his wife going after Trump, with his daughter making millions on Trump, with him not even seeing that as a recusal. Now, how about this? What's Trump tried for? Please, lawyers over America, listen to me for a second. The main charge here is a false statement. Here's the false statement. Somebody in the Trump organization, not Trump, wrote in a little business entry, they wrote the words legal fee. Okay. The prosecutor has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it's false. if they're just even, you're not guilty. There's nothing false about it.
But nobody trusts the jury.
Every witness has testified that it's a legal fee.
I know, but
they've even called it that. By this time, it is obvious that the main tiny little misdemeanor charge that is leading to a worldwide case, which carries 11 months in jail and nobody goes to jail for it, is false.
How are they trying to get a felony out?
Trump is innocent.
Rudy.
He told the truth, or whoever wrote it told the truth. Second, it's barred by the statute of limitations. In America and in England, for about 800 years, we've had a statute of limitations. Not in crooked Democrat New York, you don't have a statute of limitations. No way. This happened 7 years ago. Statute of limitations is 5 years. Case over. Not for Trump. So they say Trump committed a felony.
I see.
He made this now truthful statement in pursuance of a felony.
Oh my God.
Which is idiotic. That should end the case. That you're going to say to me, I think, if you have any sense of fairness, what's the felony? They haven't told him yet.
They haven't said it yet.
They haven't charged it.
The problem is nobody trusts the process anymore. They believe it's corrupt. Most Americans, like I said, even the left-wing shows are saying it, and they feel like Alvin Bragg could care less if it gets overturned on appeal.
Joe Biden.
Listen. Everybody says, yes, they all coordinated at the White House. Alvin Bragg went there, Letitia James went to the White House, Fannie Willis and her lover went to the White House, absolutely being coordinated out of the White House. But everybody, and I'm tending to think this is true, he'll get a guilty thing in New York on this case, appeal
is dictatorship. It is a one-party. Judge Engelmoron, who is presiding over the other absurd case, has been elected 3 times.
He's a wackadoodle.
But
he even looks like a wackadoodle.
But could you please point out that he was elected without an opponent? Where do you get elected without an opponent? In Cuba.
When the fix is
in Cuba, after these paintings were done. In Soviet Russia, you get elected without an opponent. In Nazi Germany, you get elected without an opponent. In the United States of America, you're not elected if you don't have an opponent. You're appointed by same guy, Keith Wright, or his predecessor, Democratic boss. And they could at least make a joke out of a fair trial. They could kind of like pretend it's a fair trial. To cut a cross-examination off, the minute she lies, why don't you just stand up and say, hey, I'm the prostitute in the court. Judge Mershon, I'm a prostitute of the Democrat Party. That's who I am. Because I'm desperate to hold on to my position. Because they're going to throw me out of here. I've never even been nominated in 22 years. So he must be one hell of a judge. At least Engelmoron got nominated 3 times. They pick a judge who's never even been put up for election. Not even a joke. So somebody in New York, some Democrat, somewhere who would like to save American justice should come forward and say, this case should just be a mistrial. It's over. What you did yesterday or today in court is pornographic. It's obscene. It's a disgrace to American justice. It makes us look to our allies who have fair justice systems. Like, how can we complain about China or Russia? We do exactly the same thing they do. We're doing exactly what Maduro is doing in Venezuela. Maduro promised Joe Biden he's going to conduct a free and fair trial. For that, he got billions. Because Joe throws around billions to, well, mostly terrorists, not just dictators. Immediately, he set up a trial. And within a few days, his opponent was in jail. That's the America that Joe Biden is conducting right now.
It's not
For
just
the
with
first time in American history, an American president is trying to imprison his opponent on no crime charge.
Yeah.
Whatever happened sexually between them is completely irrelevant. This is not a sexual case. This is a case about a false statement in a little teeny business record that says legal fee. The money was paid to Mr. Cohen, who was his lawyer.
That's illegal.
And among other things, as witnesses have said, it's a legal fee. That is a correct description of it. It can be 5 other descriptions, but that one is not false. Second, the federal felony that they're charging, they haven't charged yet. Someday they're going to tell us, maybe after the conviction, what he did. Because you know why they're not going to tell you what the federal felony is? Because the federal government says it's not a felony.
That's right. This is a federal case. If it was a case at all, it would be a federal because of the fact that they also say that it was in campaign contribution, right?
Yeah, it was a campaign contribution according to what we think their theory,
Yeah.
except the federal government has said,
There's no.
gee, I'm sorry,
there's no
it's not
there
a federal
there. Yeah.
it's not a campaign
No
contribution.
case. Yeah.
Not only that, the Justice Department, the Biden crooked Justice Department, the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of New York, another Democrat. His predecessor, Bragg, who was responsible probably for more murders in New York than anybody I can think of quickly, and all decided it wasn't a federal felony. Then Bragg got criticized, and then Bragg got squeezed by the Democratic crooked machine and brought a phony charge. And now we have a judge who is making a mockery of American justice. And judges who make a mockery of American justice should be thrown out of office. They should be, what they are doing to my state, to my city, that I worked to make the safest large city in America, is a disgrace. Get Merchant the hell out of New York and get every one of those damn Democrats out. You're stinking the place up and nobody's going to live there. Nobody. Meanwhile, Adams is really helping. He's off in Rome. The city has protest after protest after protest. We got schools burning. And this guy is off in Rome.
It's because his eye is on the White House. I'm convinced he's
Wow.
looking for higher office.
Wow.
He goes to these places. He has
I think it's
the mayor of New York City. Why is he going to Israel? Why is he going to Rome?
Well, if he wasn't in Israel, he'd be in a nightclub.
Well, that's true too.
Right.
Or he's in California dancing the night away.
So tomorrow we're going to be back in court. Another pornographic daytime experience.
Oh, I don't think so, because this time it's the defense questioning.
Oh, but sure, he will cut off the defense. He will stop them. They're afraid to really irritate him too much. They're afraid to object. Someone said today they were afraid to object too much. Gosh almighty, I wish I had taught them litigation. There's no such thing as objecting too much. There's something called objecting incorrectly. But when your rule of evidence is correct, you object. By the way, if you don't, you'll lose it on appeal, dope. Which the judge very, very tauntingly said to them today. The judge said to them today, after it was all over, after he had his disgraceful pornographic trial, he said, some of these things should not have come in, but you didn't object.
Well,
you see what he's doing? He's setting up a great malpractice case for Trump against his lawyers, but that's going to be too late. The judge is telling them, I had a judge who was considerably more direct than that. He would have said, your lawyers aren't objecting. And then he would have looked at the lawyers and said, where did you go to law school?
Yeah.
And they would say, we went to Columbia. Ask for your degree back because you don't know what the hell you're doing. Now, hey, defendants, get a real lawyer.
Well, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
All right.
We're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
This is Rudy Giuliani back again with America's Mayor Live. We're going to switch to another part of the world, but an equal disgrace and historic blot on America. Joe Biden is so desperate to win a few Islamic votes in Dearborn, Michigan. I think that's it, that he is completely double-crossing the state of Israel and putting a knife in Bibi's back. It's so bad that he's now begging Bibi not to attack Rafah. Now, I'm going to do a little arithmetic for you. Remember, Hamas is the group that came over and killed 1,200 Jewish citizens, civilians mostly, innocent people, largest attack on the Jewish community since Hitler. And some of them children, some of them women, some of them raped, some of them ripped apart, and some of them beheaded. At the time, Bibi, the head of Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, who was responsible for the safety of the Israeli people, who takes it much more seriously than Dodo Joe Biden does, who does nothing for the safety of our people, except in very large numbers gets us killed. He said, I'm going to wipe out Hamas. Now, he didn't say that in a blustering way. He said it because Hamas is dedicated for 50 years to the destruction of the state of Israel, to the destruction of the Jewish people, and a third one that apparently doesn't affect Joe Biden very much, because he does it himself, death to Americans. Everyone seemed to agree with that, including feckless, degenerate, demented Joe Biden. Israel now, for the last 5 months, has been constantly hectored by Joe Biden and told to stop Hamas because they're killing civilians. Well, first of all, Israel is killing less civilians than in any modern war in memory, considerably less than the United States of America has done. Number two, Israel is killing civilians because Hamas puts civilians in front of them because they're a bunch of miserable cowards who'd rather see women and children die. And finally, Hamas hasn't been anywhere near wiped out. Hamas is alleged to have between 30 and 40,000 terrorists. By the way, designated terrorists by the United States, not by Biden, by Trump. Biden would love to take Hamas off the terrorist list. I mean, he gives them plenty of money so that they can kill Jews and Americans. Giving it to the UN is giving it to them. You're a fool if you don't know that. And he's not that much of a fool. So he has been pressuring Netanyahu. He has now done the unthinkable. He's cut off the flow of arms to Israel. Meanwhile, he sends $60 billion over to his pal in Ukraine without an inspector general, without any attempt to see if the money is being used for warfare in a country that's considered to be number one or number two most corrupt country in the world, that has already gotten somewhere around 200 billion of our dollars and can't seem to win. In fact, it looks like it wants to settle us into a long-term, maybe Vietnam War. The money that we gave them, 60 billion, has no plan attached to it to drive Russia out. I mean, it would be impossible because who knows how much of that money is going to even be used for that. If you think the money in Ukraine is being used irresponsibly, please, please don't go to an Ivy League college. Go to some real college or do something like read. I know it's hard. Many people don't. I guarantee you that with that amount of money, just about 200 billion, they'd push Russia out if they were using it for it. But you got a president there, Zelensky, whose mentor is one of the biggest crooks in Ukraine, Kolomoisky. And they have the goods on show. They got all the records of all the bribes, even the ones I don't know about. Whatever I have, they have 3 times. So I have about 14 million in bribes. I'm told it's about 20. And Zelensky can tell you where the Biden offshore bank accounts are located. Zelensky can get anything he wants out of Biden, and he is. But Israel can't even get arms. He's cut off arms for Israel. For this, he should be impeached tomorrow. However, thank God that my friend of 40 years, and he's really my friend, not like Joe Biden, because I don't stab my friends in the back. Thank God my friend Bibi Netanyahu takes his oath of office seriously, and he's a decent, moral man. And he has gone right to Rafah, despite Biden's pleas, Blinken's whining, and he's wiping them out. Not because he wants to, but because they want to kill his people. Ooh. And thank you, Bibi, because they want to kill us too. But our president is afraid to wipe him out because he may lose a couple of votes in Dearborn, Michigan. So what is he doing? He's presenting you with a ceasefire plan. I don't know what you did when you saw this. I know you. I have a suspicion. So they've been working on a ceasefire for some time. The idea is the Hamas are going to give the Israelis the hostages back, which include the Americans that Biden never mentions. They're like the 13 Americans who died, that he got killed in Afghanistan, and he stood there during the ceremony for him, looking at his watch. Should we show that to you? The one in which the families, I can't repeat what they say about Joe Biden. If I tell you that they accuse him of having their children murdered, I'm telling you what they accuse him of. So yesterday, there's a big announcement. Ceasefire in Gaza. Agreed to by Qatar. Useless. Qatar is making billions from the people who run Hamas, because Hamas isn't going to get wiped out. The billionaires in Qatar are going to continue to run it. Best he can do is wipe out the soldiers. Agreed to by Egypt. Agreed to by Egypt because they don't want a Palestinian in Egypt for any reason, because they're smart enough to know they're murderers. Agreed to by Hamas. Agreed to by stinking Blinken. Nobody sends Israel a document. You know, it's like a crooked Pelosi. She passes bills and then you read it after. Remember? What's in the bill, Nancy? I don't know. We read it later. So they get the ceasefire, and it says that 33, that's right, 33 Israelis will be returned in return for 3,000 or 4,000 Palestinians. Doesn't sound like good numbers to me. And when they get the final draft, there's a little something added after the 33. You know what it says? 33 Israelis, parenthesis, alive or dead, close parenthesis. Hamas was going to send them dead bodies. And Biden approved it. And stinking Blinken and our now democratic dictatorship in Washington that has become pro-Islamic terrorist, because God forbid they may lose a state. Well, Bibi had the reaction that a man has, not a twink like stinking Blinken, not a completely gone human being like Biden, but like a man. And he went there and he attacked them and he's beaten the living daylights out of them. But really, it's a tough job. Basically, what Biden wanted him to do was to call it all off. He would have killed about 15,000 Hamas warriors. Maybe. That's according to Hamas. You know how many there are? 40,000. He wouldn't have even killed half of the Hamas army. I mean, it would take him a couple of weeks to get enough people together to come in and kill another 12,000 or 1,200 Jews. Biden care about that? No. So I don't know, when it comes election time, if you're Jewish or if you care for the Jewish people, how about voting against them and yelling and screaming while you're voting in the ballot? Make your vote public. I'm voting against the worst president in American history, and I'm proud of it. Joe Biden. He is a disgrace to this country. Donald Trump handed over a world at peace. What do we have now? We'll be back very shortly.
Is something that you can plug into your television, and now you can use your television as a social television type experience. So in the Portal universe, you can watch your favorite content creators' videos, live streams, music. We also have TV subscriptions as well.
Subscriptions.
You can also
regular channels, all the sports.
Right, you can actually cut your cable from your cable subscription and get QUX TV on our QX TV boxes, and you can pay half the price that you're currently paying for your cable television subscription, and you can get all the best premium TV channels and more. I mean, it's really, there's so much on there, Rudy. I mean, you've seen it.
No, I've seen it and I use it, and it's I mean, it's just exactly the same except for half the price. Plus, nobody is finding out what I'm watching, and that's not being reported to anybody.
Right, so you have absolute privacy using this device, which you don't have on other devices out there currently on the market.
This is absolutely great. QUX.TV is how you can find out about it. QUX.TV.
Use promo code RUDY to receive $30 off.
Delivers on its promise to do good and never forget the sacrifices America's greatest heroes have made for us. Heroes who risked their lives to keep our communities and our country safe. Heroes like United States Marine Corps Captain and pilot John Jeremy Sachs. Captain Sachs sustained fatal injuries when his military aircraft crashed during training, killing him and 5 other service members. He's remembered by loved ones as courageous, brilliant, and devoted to his career, family, and friends. John is survived by his wife, Amber, who gave birth to their second daughter 3 months after his death. Tunnel to Towers paid the mortgage on the family home for Amber and their 2 daughters. The foundation has helped over 1,000 military and first responder families navigate the worst of times by removing the burden of a mortgage payment. Our nation's heroes and their families need your help now more than ever. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. T2T.org. That's T, the number 2T.org. T2T.org. Please donate now. Welcome back. Now you see a little different segment here, right? After all of that, after all that, we got to focus on an example of people who understand freedom, democracy, individual liberty, human responsibility, people I love. Now, Roberto and I just met each other, but he doesn't know that I love the Cuban people. He doesn't know that I love them. I've loved them since I was a child. I loved them since they were double-crossed at the Bay of Pigs. I've loved them since they came to America, impoverished with nothing, everything taken by Castro. And they've been immediately some of the most successful Americans. We call them hyphenated Americans. I don't know if I like that. I'm Italian American. You're Cuban American.
Cuban.
First of all, I think we should be American, Italian, American, Cuban. I'd like that better.
Yeah, yes.
And I think after a while, we should get rid of the Italian and the Cuban. And we're both Americans. And
Yeah.
And the Cuban people, the Cuban people have books written about them because if you come to the United States as an immigrant and you want to follow the example of the Cuban people. I'm telling you, the success they've had in a decent, wonderful, patriotic way, gosh almighty. Now we'll get to what I really have here.
Yeah, yes. I
Your
love
cigar.
Yeah, the Cuban is music, dance, and cigars.
Mm.
And freedom. For I escape Cuba. For I looking for my freedom in Cuba. You don't have freedom and you don't have rights. And I escaped Cuba in the little boat in 1992. And I stayed 5 days in the middle of the ocean, ready for die. And one day, the American Coast Guard gone there, and he told me, "Hey, give me the hand, save your life." And put it in the boat, put it down the ocean, the boat. And I'm putting my hand back, and I say, "No, you not put it down the ocean, the boat, for I have the collector, the painting in my boat. I'm the art collector." And the American Coast Guard say, "What? Are you arrived in the middle of the ocean? You have the art collector?" "Yeah, I have the collection in my boat. And you not putting down the ocean, my painting." That's the history. But Cuba destroyed the painting, destroyed the history, put it in trash, the books, put it in trash, the history. For I doing recuperation for the Cuban history, and the painting in my boat, you know, put it inside the ocean. And I put it back my boat, and he said crazy, you hallucinated. No hallucinated. It's ready, it's true. And he called the boat, say, "I'm stay in the middle of the ocean." The one Cuban guy says they are collector. What do you say? Oh, he crazy. He hallucinated. No, I'm the collector. I'm here for I die in the middle of the ocean. You know, put it down. And the boss say, "Okay, go with the boss, save your collection." And this day is a more important day in my life. For the 3 more important gifts for me is save my life. And the number 2, welcome to Elan Freedom. I'm putting my life on freedom. And the number 3 is very important. The number 3, for the guy told me, "Hey, you're going to jail, the immigration prison." "Okay, and you gone to jail, you have the rights." "I have the right, yes. I'm the more happiness prisoner in the world, for I have the rights. My free time in my life, I have the rights. Yes."
You had the rights?
Yes.
And you were let out?
I have the rights.
Oh, man.
I have the rights. Now, free time in my life, I have the right. That's a very, very happiness for me. I'm pro-America for this, freedom and rights.
Now, how do you divide your time? Because here I am sitting in, I have to tell you, an unbelievably beautiful room, which I think people can only partially experience. How do you divide your time between art, which you obviously love?
Yes.
And cigars, which you obviously
And cigars. Now I that's my beautiful dreams. I do in the cigar for La Rumba, Rumbera. La Rumba is this is a painting. La Rumba is a Cuban. The Cuban is a music, is a cigar, is a dance. That's La Rumba. This is
Chet, can you
spectacular piece.
Chet,
It's-
can you see the band? I'm not a band per. I always take the band off because I chew 'em, but I'm keeping this band on. I do. I chew 'em. Can you see the painting? I mean, each one of these bands, you want to keep them. I'm telling you. See, I think I take them off before so I don't spoil them. I think I take them off so I don't spoil them. So there's a beautiful painting, and the painting is a dance, right?
Yeah, it's the dance in 1937. The artist, the name is Antonio Sanchez Araujo, and he want doing the piece for he want say for the world what the different for what for Cuban is different in another country. For Cuba is different in another country. For the five continent miss the culture and the little island in the Caribbean, Cuba, the beautiful Cuba.
Wow.
The Euro is staying for the guitar, the Spain guitar, the Africa instrument, and the combination, the five continent miss the culture and the little island. That's for this, the Cuban is different. Music, cigars, and rum.
And rum.
And rum.
And this is called La Rumbera.
La Rumbera, La Rumbera,
La
1937.
Rumbera.
By
See,
the Oliva
he
cigar.
rolls the R's like Italian. La Rumbera.
La Rumbera, so
La
that is
Rumbera.
by Oliva cigar.
La
You smoke cigar and you dance. You smoke
La
cigar and you
Rumbera. Come on, Ted. Let me see if you can do it. Rumbera. Let's go. We have Cuban-American, an Italian-American. Let me see how you can do your R's. Ooh.
Rosie here on the mic.
No, they say that's your name, Rosy
Rosy.
Ramos.
Oh, no, it's Rosy Ramos.
Whoa.
And my father is Roberto Ramos.
Roberto Ramos. Is that
Roberto
pretty good?
Ramos. You did it.
Roberto, I am here. Welcome to America's Mayor Live with Roberto Ramos.
Roberto.
Now, I am surrounded, you don't know this, but I am surrounded by art, all different, all interesting, all I want somebody to tell me the story. Tell me the story.
Well,
Live show. Want to know if the cigar smoke ruins the art? That's the biggest question.
Oh,
Yeah, that's good for I have equipment for clean the place. I have equipment for the cigars. Extractor and equipment is good.
it's also Cuban art.
Yeah, all
It doesn't get hurt by
all Cuban.
if it's good tobacco, it doesn't get ruined. You bring some cheap tobacco in here, like we were doing with coffee. You drink that cheap coffee. You use bad tobacco. Who knows what could happen to these?
See this?
Yeah.
Mm.
so what are we looking at here? Oh, sorry, I was getting a little dizzy here. But what are we looking at here? We want to show this
Yeah.
piece of art on the floor here.
Yeah, it's a Wilfredo Lang. It's a very Cuban famous. He doing work together for Picasso in Spain, in French. It's very famous. That's the Cuban artist in 1940s.
1940s. Wow. And then what about this one? This kind of looks like
Big one?
the Middle Ages.
Yeah, the big
Yeah,
one with the. So
That
we
one is El Greco. El Greco is a beautiful, famous painting. Is the Conde de Orgaz. It's in Spain, in Toledo. This is a Cuban guy goes there and I put it in the same artist, put it in the National Museum in Cuba.
and that is in Toledo,
Yeah,
Spain.
Toledo, Spain. Yeah, that's a. And that one is more important. It's the more important.
Yeah, explain this
Please.
right here.
This is a Walter Reed for the Walter Reed and the discovery and the yellow fever going to Cuba for research for the Dr. Carlos J. Finland discovery and the mosquito. The mosquito is the problem for the yellow fever. is a more important discovery in medicine in 20th century. 20th century. The painting is very famous. I stay inside the National Palace. But the problem in 1959, the government, communist Castro, say destroy the painting. For what? No, for I don't like the American in the National Palace. I say, and the guy don't want destroy, and the guy save the painting, put it in your closet, and you hung for 50 years. For I buy the piece and I'm recuperation the Cuban history. It's a Cuban-American. Was American go there and discovered it on yellow fever.
So Castro destroyed it.
Yeah.
Because it showed a connection to America. Now, Roberto, what Castro was doing was classical Marxism. So what Marxists do to Cuba, to China, like the Cultural Revolution, to America with all the statues that were burning down, they destroy your culture.
Yeah.
They take away being Cuban. They take away being American. They take away being Russian even. They take away being Chinese because you're not Russian. You're not Cuban. You're not Chinese. You're not American. You're a communist.
Yes.
And you belong to them. You're a creature of the state. So Castro destroyed Cuban culture.
Yes.
As every communist did.
Destroyed all freedom is destroy the freedom.
Okay.
So this is freedom and you don't have rights. The communist is very bad for the country. Yeah. Yes.
Castro closed down the churches. Some existed.
No, don't lie the church, don't lie the Virgin de la Caridad. He said Cuban patroness, he destroyed too, destroy all history. And I'm staying in Cuba, I don't like this, and as be very bad for Castro, and Castro put in jail 3 times. And I stayed in jail too much time.
And then in 1962 or 63, he expelled the Jews. And my good friend, who was my advance man and body man and friend and partner for quite some time, was a Cuban Jew whose Jewish family, some were killed, all their property was taken. And they have a name, I don't know if it's the right name or a wrong name. He has a name for a Cuban Jew. Do you know what the name is? What? No, I don't know what it is. I'm going to try to remember. But there are a significant number of Cuban Jews that were thrown out by Castro. Also, at the beginning, he killed homosexuals.
Yes.
He killed people with AIDS because he thought that was the best way to stop the spread of AIDS. And Hollywood fell in love with him. So I want you, when you think about the people who are tearing down statues of Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, who are burning the American flag, they're doing what Castro was doing. They're doing what Mao was doing. They're doing what Stalin was doing. They are trying to destroy your country. Yes. They're trying to destroy America. Do you know who is the biggest advocate of destroying the American nationality? George Soros. He's written about how dangerous the American nationality is. So this is the war we're in right now. And they are turning us into, in many ways, a communist country. That trial in New York is a communist trial. You don't have trials like that in America. What he's doing with the border and just opening it up, watching people die of ethanol 3 and 4 to 1 over the past, is Marxist. Take away the border, take away the country. And that's what we're living through. Cuba went through it with Castro, but many, many Cubans were able to come to America. Yes. Now they want to take America away.
Yeah, looking for the freedom. In Cuba, you don't have freedom. No freedom of speech, no freedom political, no freedom economic. It's all, the freedom is illegal.
And that's the word law of Cuba. Who's that weird little guy? Shorky Penn?
Sean Penn?
Sheiky Penn? Shitty Penn? What is it?
The actor?
Yeah, he's about 5'2", right?
Is he sure?
And so he loved Castro. He loves Castro. Yeah, I mean,
He don't know. He don't know. Castro paid the money, or
Yeah,
people
Castro
don't
paid the
know
money.
the
He didn't-
history. People like the money. No, no.
Yeah, he didn't know the history of the homosexuals that Castro killed. He didn't know the history of the Jewish people that he expelled. He didn't know the history of all the Cubans that he killed. I mean, the man was a massive murderer, not unlike the others, not unlike the other communist leaders. And that the Cuban people can give you a contemporary history of the evils of communism. Communism is not another form of government. It's evil. And if you believe, if you're religious or spiritual and you believe in Satan, it's satanic. Oh, and please, don't think I made that up. Marx did. Marx spent several books writing about how he was God, Marx, and he was like Satan because Satan was eventually more important than God. So this is not made up, it's for real. Now, the art here is fabulous. There's a man back there who's looking at us very, very strange. I don't know if he likes us or he does.
Yes, Jose Marti.
Is he a good guy?
Yeah, Jose Marti is a poet. He's a freedom for Cuba. He's the father of Cuban.
I like.
And Abraham Lincoln is a poet, and he put you life for the freedom of Cuba. The more important guy in Cuba, Jose Marti.
Marti.
Yeah.
We used to have a parade for him in New York every year. For Jose Marti.
Yeah, Jose Marti. He lived in New York. He lived in New York in 1980 and 1905.
Well, do you know there's a parade for him every year in New York for Jose Marti? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. It didn't look like him.
Yeah, he's Marti and Lincoln is the same.
He looks a little like my uncle. I mean, this is really a beautiful, beautiful group of paintings. Now, how did you get all those? How did you put all this together?
Yeah, for I'm collecting for 40 years, all my life. In Cuba, one day, I'm happy for the old man change the house, and the old man told me, hey, I don't have money for pay you. And I say, hey, I working for 3 days. Give me a $20. And he told me, no, I don't have $20. For I looking for $20 for I want to buy American jeans, and I put American jeans and go to the party and the girl for me, for I have only 16 years. And he told me, no, I don't have paint. I don't have $20 for I take for you the famous painting, the little painting. Okay, are you selling the painting? You buy the jean. Okay, give me the painting. I'm looking for $20 for everywhere, looking for the painting, and the people don't know the name. And my brother told me, hey, go to the National Museum for research for the artists and research for the artists. And the artists very famous. The problem, the artists go outside Cuba, and the Cuban government destroy the history. And I say, what? Destroy the history for the painting? For what? No, for he going outside Cuba. The people go outside Cuba is a traitor. For what? For the traitor. No, for the freedom. Castro say, you don't like the revolution, you traitor. What? And I speak very bad for the government. That for this, and I stay in jail 3 times, and going to the jail only for speak bad for the government. And one day I told to my mom, hey mom, I had to bad news for you. What is bad news? You going to jail again? No, this time I'm going to jail. This time is more bad. What is more bad? I buy the little boy and escape. I'm looking for my freedom. For I take my freedom and take the freedom for all my family. And I escape in the ocean for 5 days. I have freedom and save my family.
And-
Yes.
And restored the history of Cuba.
And the what?
And he had 9 paintings in his boat, the roof of the boat.
Yeah, I put the painting in the bowl, and the American Coast Guard saved my life and saved my painting. Now, 34 years later, I have the museum. I have the big one collection for the Cuban fine art.
That is an absolutely beautiful story, which should inspire you to go and get mypillows.com. You should go help our friend Mike, who has made these wonderful American pillows, which you just go mypillows.com/Rudy, and you'll have the pillows for Memorial Day, and then you'll have the pillows for the 4th of July. Get a big, 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 big American flag blanket so you can go to the beach and drive the left-wingers nuts, right? Drive them nuts with the American flag. We have one, an American flag blanket. I don't have it with me, but what? I use it as a blanket. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. And it's pretty interesting, huh? Great history. Great history. Anybody else?
We're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50% and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
This is the Rudy Giuliani back with Rosie Ramos.
Yes.
Ramos. I didn't get no. Rosie Ramos.
Yes. Rosy Ramos. That's perfect. Now you roll your R's. It sounds
Now
good.
that is your.
That's my father, Roberto Ramos.
All right. Now
Yes.
you're going to tell us, Rosie. Oh, no. Rosie, you're going to tell us about the cigar.
Yes. So he spoke about La Rumba, the painting, which he forgot to mention. This is kind of like the Mona Lisa of France, but the Mona Lisa of Cuba, La Rumba. And my father partnered with Oliva Cigars, which is one of
Yes,
top.
wonderful cigar, one of the top cigars in the world, in the United States and in the world.
Yeah.
Definitely competitive with any Cuban cigar,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
right? Would you say so?
Yes.
Yes.
The very, very great friendship that he has with them. He partnered with them to create a cigar based off of La Rumba. We named the cigar La Rumbera. So you can see.
See, you can see, I took it off mine because I'm chewing on it, but
Oh, it's blurry, but you can tell it's got beautiful gold design, and it is based off of the painting. And it's a medium body cigar. So I don't like those that are too strong or too heavy. So this is like a perfect smoke for me and for anybody that's not looking for something too strong. But yes.
show them, unless she's embarrassed, but show them, show Dr. Maria having one.
Oh yeah, she's trying.
Come on, Dr. Maria, don't be shy.
Oh, yes.
Don't be shy.
Yeah.
Show Dr. Maria. Can we, Ted?
I know. It's gonna take a second. I'm doing it, guys.
Ted is, Ted, you got to be careful with Ted. He's an artiste. You got to be very, with artists, you know that.
Oh yeah.
Very,
Very,
very careful.
yes.
There we go. There's Roberta. And there's Maria.
Yes. Amazing.
How is it, Maria? Good cigar. Really good cigar. Congratulations, Roberto. Oh, Teddy, did you see that?
I got it on video. Yeah, that's right on video.
Now, if tomorrow morning you come here and that's empty, he's the guy to go.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Who's he's the cigar lover? Me or the mayor here? I don't know.
Manny used to get cigars for me, Ted. Manny is the Cuban gentleman I told you about, whose family was Jewish and they fled Cuba. And whenever we would go to a big dinner in the days in which they had cigars, Manny would go around and he'd mooch cigars from everybody at the dinner, saying they were for me.
Oh,
I get to,
on that.
no, he finally got caught by my cops because he would give me 2-3 cigars, which was nice. I never thought he got more than 2 or 3. And then one day he got this big box he's bringing to a friend. And one of my curious security guys looked in the box and it was filled with cigars. And they came from all the dinners we had been at. But he was giving the cigars to poor people. Isn't that nice?
That's nice.
Cubans are nice people.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, he's beating me.
Look at that. You know what that means? That means it was rolled perfectly.
Oh, yes.
Where is she still here?
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
We should,
These.
does she want us down and roll? We could. You want to roll this video?
Yeah, do a little rolling for her.
She can roll. We can keep talking.
No, this is very important. So you got to understand, and I'm going to have Roberto and Rosie. I'm going to have them both correct me where I'm wrong. But I've been smoking cigars for. Okay, that long. The most important part of the cigar is the wrapper. The wrapper gives the most flavor. No one would think it because it's a little thin, little tobacco. But you got to be really careful with the wrapper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got to be really careful with the wrapper. Then you have the, what do you call the next level? The next one, not the filler, but the next one. The one that really holds the tobacco together.
Capote.
Capote. Okay.
Yeah.
And then that's the second. And then, of course, the filler. Now, it's all important, but you're going to get like that extra little taste out of that wrapper.
Uh-huh.
So what kind of wrapper is this? Do you know?
¿Qué tipo?
Ecuador. So it's Havana seed.
Yeah, a Havana seed and then Habano, Ecuador. The Habana.
So now what about the cabo? Esteli in Nicaragua.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they do Oliva.
Yes.
And they do Padrones there too, don't they? Yeah, there's a big Padron factory in Esteli. That's
Yes.
why it's so similar. Oh.
And it's they're made in Nicaragua by Oliva and
Mhm.
oh, well, you can order them at larumbera1937.com. We sell them in packs. Yes.
And you don't have to roll the R. You'll still get it.
Yes.
But you'll get it. Will you get
Extra credit.
Will you get a discount if you roll? If you, how do you roll the R on the internet?
Oh, right. R-R-R-R-R.
Now,
Yes. larumbera1937.com.
La Bear.
Yes. Okay.
so now let's show our very famous and quite artistic roller. Let's show it.
¿Quieren enseñarte?
Our friend who's rolling cigars.
¿Quieren hacerte tabaco?
We'll check in a minute here. We have our friend here who's rolling cigars.
I want to ask
The equipment. Oh,
Yeah.
set up.
I want to ask you a question. Are women better rollers than men?
Que si mujeres son
Cigars?
mejores
Would you say they're
haciendo los trabajos de los hombres.
a little more careful?
Yes. Yes.
Do you know many cigar aficionados and owners and have told me that? Now, that doesn't mean you don't get a really good male roller or a really bad female roller, but by and large, between men and women, the women are a little more careful.
I think so.
You think so?
I think they also get a little more attention to detail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is perfectly rolled. So, as you know, we are in the state of Florida, which is a very nice thing because we're in a state that is a free state, as opposed to New York, which is a democratic dictatorship in which only one party rules. They have a majority of the state legislature. They have a nitwit governor named Hochul Pochul, and they have a mayor who spends most of his time in nightclubs and someplace else. Right now, he's in Rome to see the Pope, while the colleges in the city are getting the hell kicked out of them. But he doesn't really care about that because he wants to convince you it isn't happening. His basic approach is it's not happening. Meanwhile, New York City has lost more people than any city in the country. A lot of them right here. When I come to Miami, I'm better known than I am in New York. Isn't that a shame? I'm better known in Miami than in New York. I can't, how about even in Palm Beach, Ted? I can't walk down the street in Palm Beach without everybody knowing me.
Of course.
Is
No,
there-
it's not just Palm Beach. It's not, it's any, it's, and I'm not saying this.
Is it,
No.
I just want to ask a question. Is there a material difference between Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Palm Beach, and New York? For me,
No. No. I wouldn't say so. If,
now they are.
but
I
even in
have-
Florida, half of these folks are New Yorkers.
Despite the Biden administration trying to put me in jail for the rest of my life, I am more popular in New York than I ever have been. Would you please come back? Would you please come back? Please. It's almost like, it's not even terribly uplifting. It's like, would you please come back? Take Well, take anybody but Adams, please, please. So I have to do a little bit of news because I want to explain what happens. I would like to explain what happens to a country and how dangerous it is to put a nitwit in the White House. So we have a nitwit in the White House. I have known Joe Biden for 10, 20, 30, 5 years. Joe Biden is, before he became demented and mentally ill, is the single dumbest man I know, without doubt, and probably dumber than anybody you know. He really is a freaking nitwit. So the other day, he was giving a speech, this freaking nitwit, who has a little button next to him that could destroy the world, which is really dangerous. And you did it, or you were cheated. So Saturday, he gave a speech. Very dangerous for him to give speeches. Could get people killed by giving speeches. So on Saturday, he decided he was going to give one of his intellectual speeches, which is very, very dangerous because he doesn't have an intellect. So Biden grouped a number of countries as xenophobic. You might remember that he consistently accuses Donald Trump of being xenophobic. Me too. Thank you. I appreciate the insult. He decided that Japan and India are xenophobic, as well as Russia and China. As he tried to explain, that's the reason why they have struggling economies. Now, let's just stop for a moment. Japan is our single biggest ally in Asia. It's our protection, really, really, if you understand history and you understand the history of the Chinese and the Japanese who have spent thousands of years at war. There is no one the Chinese fear, including the US, more than the Japanese. Now, the Japanese have been demilitarized. You militarize them, and the Chinese will have serious problems of retaining, well, they'll be peeing in their pants, and you know what, because they're afraid of the Japanese. The Japanese are a very loyal friend of the United States, but he's accused them of being xenophobic, just like China and Russia. China has killed 80 million people, Russia about 70. And he accuses our ally of being like them. Oh, how about India? India is the largest country in the world, bigger than China. It's the one chance, really, that there'll be a country bigger than China. He called them xenophobic. Now, number one, even if they are, that's stupid. But that's Joe. Number two, they're not. They have changed their laws quite a while ago. So India is one of the more open places in the world. and the diversity of their population is enormous. And they were extremely insulted. And Japan has just passed a law to open themselves up. Number two, he said, because they're xenophobic, their economies are struggling. Well, Japan's rate of growth last year was twice the United States. India was 3.5 times. Who's struggling? You are, dope. Imagine calling our allies xenophobic. Why don't you just throw them out? There's a 25th Amendment. It says, if you are mentally incapable of carrying out the duties of president, we can throw you out. This guy doesn't know which way to move when he finishes a speech. Now we're going to start the process of rolling a cigar, which Joe Biden would have no ability to do or even understand.
That's right. We're gonna move the camera here onto our friend, Livian Garcia, and we're gonna put up her Instagram here shortly. But here is Livian, who is rolling a cigar from scratch. Here's Livian. Livian, we got the camera on you. If you want to say hi, it's right over there. Yeah, hello. Yeah, and so this is Livia right here.
Olivia?
Livian.
Livia.
Livian.
Livia.
Ian.
Easy.
Vivian.
Yeah. It's like French, like the water.
Livian.
So here's Livian. Livian is with Living Cigars. You can find her on Instagram, Living Cigars. But she's here and she's showing you how it's done. Mayor, do you kind of know what she's doing, being the cigar aficionado you are?
I know what she's doing. I couldn't do it, but I know what she's doing.
If I give you a mic, can you tell us what you're doing?
There are differences between knowing what she's doing and doing it. But I'm going to have you explain what she's doing. Oh, do you know? Okay, I will explain what she's doing. Right now, she's cutting the cigar, and she's doing a little figure. What do you call that? A figurado or? No, a figurado is a torpedo cigar. But what do they call it when they have the little tail at the end? Tail at the end. And in American, what? Tail at the end? Let me show. Oh, no, you can show it. You show it.
You're on camera. You're on camera.
Yeah.
No, you're on camera. You don't have.
Yeah.
Stay seated. Stay seated.
Yeah, because he's.
You're on the camera. Yeah.
So why would you do that to the cigar? Why would you put the little, the little? I mean, it's cute, but is there any? Oh boy, it just went. That's okay. What?
It's
A little penis. What?
It's like a little, she makes like a little butterfly at the tip.
Does it make a difference?
¿Hace una diferencia?
Su tabaco lleva este tipo de capas, ¿sí ven?
Right.
Terminado.
It takes that type of finish.
Now, tell us about a figurado. What that means when we say a cigar is a figurado cigar.
I'll translate. Si quieres tú habla y yo te traduzco.
Like a torpedo. Like a torpedo.
Es diferente a este que viene la cabeza redonda normal.
But this one's different because it's got a round top. The other one has a straight.
Roberto,
It's like
do
a
we have a
torpedo.
torpedo somewhere? Just one we could show? Yeah, and then we'll what? What are the bosses? What are the bosses saying? What's up?
Yeah, well, we're going to show off the cigar you want to show off, show a little bit more, and then maybe we're signing off for the evening.
Oh, yes.
Can I play? What?
Are we making this? No.
Maybe I thought maybe just because this is always hidden from you, I would like to play something that is not played very often because people are afraid to play it. Although today on Newsmax, Mr. Schmidt did a very, very good job exposing the anti-American, anti-Jewish George Soros, who accuses people of being anti-Semitic if they criticize him. So a very, very fine reporter for the Post did an expose that Soros and a number of his other American-hating friends put up the money for many of the protesters who burned the American flag, burned various structures, did damage to property at NYU, at CUNY, other places. The money was put up by George Soros, among others. He's also the one who put up the money for the 50 or 60 district attorneys who are getting people murdered all over America, large percentage of which are Black people. This is George Soros. If you want to know where George Soros's sickness emerges, then you should listen to this video, which is very carefully hidden from the American people, because it proves what a horrible human being he is. So let's listen to George Soros, who is, by the way, the biggest financial supporter of Joe Biden, the biggest financial supporter of Black Lives Matter, the killing police officers, killing cops organization, the biggest supporter now, or one of the biggest supporters of the protesters who are burning American flags and raising Palestinian flags and burning Israeli flags and talking about destroying Israel. This is George Soros, and this will tell you a little bit about his history. There's a lot more to his history, as you can tell when you hear this. Are we going to play it? Can we hear it?
Right now, if we get for the audience, but we'll go here, unfortunately.
This protector of yours who swore that you were his adopted godson.
I remember exactly what he says.
Went out, in fact, and helped
From
in
the time he said
confiscation of property from the Jews.
That's right. Yes.
I mean, that sounds like an experience that would send lots of people to the psychiatric couch for many, many years. Was it difficult?
Not at all. Not at all. Maybe as a child you don't see the connection, but it created no problem at all.
No feeling of guilt.
No.
This is the man who is the biggest supporter of the current party of Joe Biden. So when you're voting for Joe Biden, you're voting for that what you just saw, that you don't get to see most places because they are afraid to play it. What they're afraid of, I don't know. George Soros one time accused me of being anti-Semitic. And I said, proudly, I'm a better Jew than you are. He never asked me, why am I a better Jew than he is? And the reason is because I never turned in the property of Jews that would get them killed. That's why I'm a better Jew than you are. So cut out all this. If you can vote for the party of George Soros, there's something wrong with you. Because to this day, he hates Jews because he wants to destroy Israel. That's George Soros.
All right.
This is a torpedo.
Yeah. I know it's
kind of called a figurado, because there are other different little things you can do also with a cigar to make them interesting, and they're very appreciated cigars, I would say. People really like them. But I have a question for Roberto. Roberto, there is a thought that the cigars like this, the triangular cigars, have better tobacco. Is that true?
Es verdad que esos tienen mejor tabaco.
Do they say a little better tobacco for these cigars because they're more popular?
That's 8 years age. It's a stay in Oliva cigar 8 years. Or 8 years.
This one's been aged 8 years, so
So you would say it's a better cigar. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Because in many ways, I think cigar companies think that people kind of test their cigar off this. In other words, if you want to try 3 cigars from different companies, very often they'll go to the triangular cigar to taste it. So they put the better tobacco in.
Mhm.
So just a little thing, and they're usually more expensive, right?
Eso,
Oliva is not too much pricey. It's a good quality, but not too
No, but is this cigar more expensive than a
caro
regular
que
cigar?
de-
No. $8. Okay, well that's good because some cigar companies make this cigar a little more expensive. Isn't that right? A little more expensive. Now, but also because it's a little harder to roll. Would this take you longer to roll than a regular cigar?
sería más difícil hacer este que este.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That's the best price and best quality.
Yeah.
Best quality.
And
Oliva
are there
cigar.
some cigar rollers that might not be able to do this?
Hay alguna gente que no lo pueden hacer, ¿verdad? Yeah. Yeah, you have to do a course.
So if you were testing a cigar roller, would you want to see their triangular cigar, the cigar like this? Would you like to see how they did this? Would this tell you if they were a good roller?
Si ellos pueden hacer eso, eso te dice que ellos son una persona que sabe hacerlo bien. Yes.
Yes, it's a little
more difficult, way more
yeah,
difficult.
sometimes you have to make it a little narrower here,
Yeah.
and then you put the little cap on, right?
So you go doing like how do you say baño in English? You go like rolling it until it finishes and creates the tip.
And one last question for the amateur cigar people out there. So there are cigars, there are a lot of different cigars, but there's one general distinction between natural and Maduro. Maduro. And one of the gentlemen here, I think you said this reminds you of a Maduro, a bit of a Maduro. And that's because it's kind of dark. But this is not a Maduro.
Este no es un Maduro. No, it's I want to cook that one.
Okay, I'm going to thank everyone in a minute, but I just want to know what's the difference between a Maduro and a natural?
Diferencia entre un Maduro y un natural.
All right, you can translate that.
The Maduro one is darker. It's a so they wet it more as they make it, and it gets aged more. Yes.
And people think it necessarily is stronger. Not always. Not always. Maduros can sometimes be stronger. Maduros can sometimes be lighter. So you have to know your Maduros. So on America's Mayor Confidential, when we get it rolling, we're going to do a special one on cigars. And we're going to do a special one on what's coming up, coffee. You like coffee? Yes, I hear everybody yelling. They're all yelling. They love coffee. All right. God bless the people of Israel and pray for them. Tonight, we're going to pray for the people of Cuba who still suffer under communism. And let's pray for the people of the United States. God bless America.
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Because they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, cause it's like,
Yeah.
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen, we have just one more bonus minute. We wanted to come back and share with you a little bit of information on this book. Go ahead, Mayor.
A novel based on a true story by Michael Reed. Tell us about this.
Yeah. So the story my father had told about, remember when he told you the story about how he wanted just $20 to buy jeans so he can impress all the ladies in Cuba? But the gentleman gave him a painting instead and told him, go to the museum. There's a famous painting, I promise, and you can sell this for way more. That painting in the front is the one, his first ever painting that started everything. It's called The Saxophone. Papi, ¿quién lo pintó otra vez? ¿El pintor cómo se llama?
Carlos Sobrino.
Carlos Sobrino. Oh, yes, one of our favorites. Painted by Carlos Sobrino. And this is the story that he told you, how he came here, how he started the collection, came here on a boat. It's all the details of the story and everything that happened, down to when he was in prison in Cuba for political protests. You can purchase it on Amazon, and it is called The Painting by Michael Reed.
Based on a true story.
Yes.
God bless. Thank you.
All right. Thanks again. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow night. We're going to send you off for some salsa.
Bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. It was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze. We are able